Hello everyone, my name is Moji. You're watching a Bitcoin Bubble News channel. There is a problem. There is too much money, power, and technology, and too many people believe they were born to help. Big ego, big power, and big abilities. And when a random storm happens in that setting, like every other storm in the last 100,000 years, it's like a powder keg and things start to fall apart, right? You're starting the dysfunction, and I think that's one of the problems with modern technology. We've made systems that are so powerful and interconnected that you start these problems. That's why we could all use some humility, respect, and appreciation for classic Austrian economics. Let the market decide, and then just decentralize. Michael Saylor, the executive chairman of MicroStrategy, says that Bitcoin can solve the problem of centralized power. Bitcoin is decentralized, which means it is not run by a single person or organization like traditional currencies are. Because Bitcoin is not controlled by a single entity, it is immune to censorship and trickery. This gives people more control over their own money. According to Saylor, this is a truly new idea that will grow at an exponential rate. In the future, he thinks that every big financial market or country will have its own Bitcoin ETF that is tailored to its own rules and economy. If Bitcoin was used by so many people, big institutions around the world would probably put a lot of money into it. You take a step back and ask, what is Bitcoin? That's right, Bitcoin is digital money. What does money mean? Money can be used to store value, buy things, or keep track of money. But cash is the part of money that is used to buy things. And the part of money that keeps its value is capital, which is more like property but mostly capital. There hasn't been a strong form of money as capital since the gold standard, so most people don't really think about it. The closest thing to that would be if you could hold gold as an investment and use gold or other pegged notes or paper money as a type of trade. However, if you think of Bitcoin as digital wealth and the dollar as money, you'll understand that money is just a way to buy and sell things. And it has to be legal cash so that you can send it to someone else without having to pay taxes on it. Of course, the dollar is the main currency of the world. Other countries will also have their own money. There will be the dollar, the yen, the peso, and so on. Every country that really is a nation-state will have its own currency. And if a nation-state fails after a fight, it might turn to the dollar. When a country can't support its own currency, it will use the euro, the dollar, or the Chinese yuan instead. That's why there are 120 currencies but at least 180 countries. People are making digital money in the form of steady coins like Tether and Circle, but that's about all that's interesting going on right now. You would also choose the safe coin over the fiat currency in places like Argentina, Turkey, or Lebanon where the fiat currency is falling apart. This is because the dollar seems like a good way to save money. If you know Bitcoin is a form of digital cash, your first thought is likely to be negative, ignorant, and upsetting. It would be very easy to change the story and say, hey, it's digital property, you're going to buy it instead of buying a building. It's like having $10 million, you reside in Africa. For $10 million, you can buy any business, building, land, set of goods, or trust in Africa. The catch is that you have to keep it there for 100 years, or you can buy Bitcoin. What are some things you'd like to buy in Africa and bring back with you? The answer is not anything, of course. You wouldn't buy anything and wouldn't buy it in any country. Nothing. It makes no sense to buy a diversified collection of anything. Okay, because of that, a point is made. The point is that Bitcoin is money that is stored online. It's a world city. It gives the same property rights to a business person or a person in Africa, whether they have $100, $1 million, or $1 billion. All of them have the government. After all, they all have the same trait, right? The same chance as a rich person in New York City, the King of England, or the royal family in Dubai. Okay, if I took your Bitcoin away, put you back in Africa, and told you, okay, now you can't buy Bitcoin, I can now buy Nigeria's best hotel. Put that away for 100 years. Have fun with that. But no one in their right mind would say that getting the best stocks and holding on to them in the Upper East Side of New York City is a good investment. Okay, it's just not as good. There are many ways in which Bitcoin is better than real property, even though it is digital property. And it's not easy to take the building apart into 100 pieces and put them back together next week. But Bitcoin can be used for other things. It has a juice. Worldwide. Okay, it can be moved very quickly. Also, you bought a building in London. Okay, fine, you spent $1 billion on a building. Could you buy 100? Can you buy 99 more houses in London that are just as valuable? This year, can you do that? They can't be changed though, right? Okay, each building is unique. Some people will say, well, that building is on that corner, and this other building that looks the same is only worth half as much, okay. And if I'm mayor and change how people drive, I can make your building worth less. That's right. As you may know, Bitcoin is a worldwide, fungible, standard form of property. It is digital too. It can be moved by a PC. For this reason, it's so appealing to everyone in the world, no matter what. You want to buy a building for $20? Have fun with that. You can get $20 worth of Bitcoin. So you can get up to 1 million Bitcoins by adding $20 at a time. It doesn't lose value when you reach 1 million. You could buy a block $20 at a time. Okay, you're not going to pay $20 for $1 million building each time. So Bitcoin gives people the right to own things and gives 8 billion people access to digital money. With their weekly salary, they can buy things. This works for people from the working class, the middle class, the upper class, a pension fund, a small business, a mega corporation, or the country itself. Everyone has the exact same thing. When ETFs were allowed in the US, there were some big investors with $50 billion, $100 billion, or even $200 billion to spend. These were pension funds and hedge funds. They have a lot of money, but the ETF was the only way for them to buy. They might want to spend a year setting up all these other tools, but they can't. Their laws don't allow them, so they have a problem with following the rules. Then there was the start of an ETF in Hong Kong. You can guess that if you buy Bitcoin through that ETF in Hong Kong, that Bitcoin is not being held safe in the US. It is best for the Hong Kong banking system for the assets to be kept at a Hong Kong bank. Thus, the Hong Kong ETF would allow me to put money into Bitcoin if I am an investor, an organization, or a company in Hong Kong. There are now rumors that ETFs will be available in mainland China. You will get those ETFs through a bank in Shanghai, and the Bitcoin will be kept in a bank on the Chinese mainland, possibly in Shanghai. Oh, okay, nearly 500 million people in China want to buy Bitcoin. These people getting rich is fine with the Chinese government. It has nothing against China getting rich. All of them like money. All of them like money. They don't agree because they don't want people to take more than $50,000 a year out of China. You've broken the rules if you buy $10 million worth of Bitcoin, store it in a hardware wallet, and then leave the country. But if you buy $10 million worth of Bitcoin through an ETF in Shanghai, and the exchange then buys the Bitcoin and stores it in China, the Chinese banking system, the Chinese currency, and Chinese culture all benefit. The Chinese government also gets tax money, and the Chinese investors get Bitcoin. The real importance of ETFs lies in their ability to solve problems related to loan access, compliance, accounting, ease of use, and reporting. It's likely that there will be a different ETF in each city or country in the world. No matter what country, the Saudis will have an ETF in Riyadh if they want Bitcoin to stay in Saudi Arabia. The people of the UAE will think, perhaps we'll keep one in Dubai. Do you really think that avalanche will keep going? Already there are 34. Those 34 hold more than 1 million Bitcoin. I believe the spread will continue. There will probably be an ETF in every country. I have one more very strong and important point to make. If you are wealthy and live in Alabama and buy a $27 million home there, no one in Israel is doing anything to make that home worth more in Alabama. There is nothing going on in Moscow, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, Singapore, or London that would make your Alabama home worth more. When that same person buys $27 million worth